Hey everyone, my name is Annie, and today we're going to do the ball game tutorial. The ball game tutorial is perfect for beginners at game programming, and you can also upload the games onto any web game platforms. To start, we are going to choose shapes. Here you can see all the available shapes in the library, and for today's purpose, we are going to choose the box. After you drag and drop the box onto the scene, you can change the size of the box by changing the numbers at the scale. Now you can follow the directions in the tutorial and use the scale numbers in the tutorial, or you can just change it to whatever size that you want. The other way to change the scale of the box is by clicking on the button over there, and you can drag and change the size that way. Now I'm going to move the box a little bit towards the middle so it is easier for everyone to see. And if you have pre-made materials like I did, you can also use them. I pre-made blue and green, and for today's purpose, I'm going to use blue. The next thing that we're going to add onto the scene are the actors. So we're going to go pick the actors, and we're going to use spawn point and trigger volume today. We're going to drag and drop the spawn point onto the box right around there. And you can see the spawn point is halfway submerged in the box. We want to make sure the spawn point is floating right above the box. We can do so by changing the numbers for the position for the spawn point. And the next thing we're going to do is to drag and drop the trigger volume onto the box, around the same position as the spawn point, but on the opposite side of the box. Again, we have to change the position of the trigger volume so it is floating right above the box. And there you have it. We have set up the ball game for now. Now the next part is to open your code editor, and this is where we'll begin the programming part. Now in the tutorial documentation, you can see that there are 4 parts to the programming part. There's the ball actor, player camera, player controller, and respawning. We're going to start by doing the ball actor part. In the code editor, we're going to add a new file called ballactor.ts. And in that file, we're going to copy and paste the following code. So we find the actors folder, and we're going to add a new file. You name that file as ballactors.ts, and then you go back to the documentation and copy and paste the code onto the code editor. Make sure you save the file every time after you paste the code. And at the bottom of the code, we do have the code explanation section for those who want to learn more about the coding that we're using. Now we're going to add the ball into the game. We do so by finding the file game.ts, and we're going to replace the entire code in that file with the following code in the documentation. And we find the game.ts file under services, and we're going to delete the code here and paste the code from the tutorial documentation. And make sure you save the file again. The next part that we're going to do is applying forces. Here we're going to go back to the ballactor.ts file and copy and paste the code. So once you arrive at the ballactor.ts file, you delete the code and copy and paste the entire code from the tutorial. And make sure you save the file. The next section is player camera. We want a camera that follows the ball so that we can see where the ball is going in the game. We have to create a new file called playercamera.ts and copy and paste the following code onto the code editor. So you go to the services folder and then you add a new file. Then in the new file, you copy and paste the code from the tutorial onto the editor. And make sure you save the file. And because we added player camera, now in the file game.ts, we have to import the player camera. So we have to go back to the file and copy and paste the code into the file. And once you copy and paste the code into the file, make sure you save the file again. Now we're going to actually go back to the code editor and open the terminal to do npm run dev so that we can actually see what we have created so far in the browser. So in the code editor, find terminal, create new terminal, and type in npm run dev. Press enter. Here you will find the link. You can copy and paste it onto your web browser. And voila! You see the ball and the box that you have created in the game so far. But the ball doesn't move anywhere right now. So the next section is about the ball movements. The next section is player controller. Here we're going to add the controls of the ball so we can move the ball in the game. To start, we're going to create a new file called playercontroller.ts in the code editor, and then we're going to copy and paste the code from the tutorial into the editor. You go to the services folder, click add new file, and enter the file name. In the file, copy and paste the code. Make sure you save the file. And here in the file, you can see all the movements that you can use to control the ball. Again, if you want to learn the code, you can always click code explanation, and here you will see the details. Now, because we add the player controller, now we have to change something in the game.ts file. So go to game.ts file, and we're going to import the player controller class. And we're going to do that by copy and paste the following code in that file. So you find the game.ts file, delete the whole code, and paste the new code in. Now, if you refresh the web browser, you can now move the ball with your WASD keys. However, you realize that once the ball falls off the box, it just keeps falling down infinitely. And because we don't want the ball to keep falling infinitely in the game, we need to add respawning. We can do so by replacing the code in the game.ts with the code in the tutorial. Next, we need to go back to the ballactor.ts and we need to copy and paste the following code onto the file before the last braces. Last but not least, to make sure that the ball is reach the goal and not just infinitely in the game, we're going to add the following code into the game.ts file right at the end of the onStart method. So if you refresh the web browser again, you will see that now you can move the ball around, and if the ball falls off the box, it will respawn itself. And there you go. You have just made your first ball game. If you have any pre-made 3D assets, you can also use it for the ball game. For example, right here, we have the pre-made grass box where we place the spawn point and the trigger volume onto the box exactly the same way that we just did in the tutorial. You can also add items onto the boxes as the obstacles for the game. Now if you want to check for the collision, you can click on the camera icon and select Show. There, all the items with the collisions on will have the blue lines around it. If an item does not have collision on though, you can click on the item and make sure for collisions you select Yes. For more information about the tutorials and the explanations for the codes, please check the link in our video description. We also have posted a link to our Discords, so you can come in and ask us any questions that you have. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to us for more future tutorials. See you next time. Bye!